Welcome to FCC Supporters Square. For fans, by fans, and about fans. Here are your hosts, Mark Shipman and Matt Foreman. Hey, everybody. It's FC Supporters Square, the one thing you've been looking for all week long. That's right. We bring the energy, we bring the funk, we bring the noise, we bring it for 30 minutes plus. Uh, so this week we're not going to have a guest, primarily because I think we're trying to recover from last week's road ope. It was it was quite an adventure. So I figured rather than have a guest and kind of rush through that and go through some things, I thought we'd just go through the nuts and bolts of what fans do on a road trip. Now, you saw my last mini episode, mini interview with Sir Postman and my good friend Mark Suffin. I've been saying it wrong the whole time, by the way.
It's all right. It's all right.
He did correct me, so I figured I was doing it right. So, so
It's one of those things. If I had a nickel,
you'd give me 5 cents. So we're just going to talk about the nuts and bolts of last weekend. We're going to talk about next weekend's game. And then next week we will have guests. We will be talking about fan perspectives. First off, I haven't seen you really as a full-time episode in a couple of weeks. Life gets in the way. I don't know about you, but recovering from the weekend has been mostly heavy work and heavy sleep. How are you doing?
Yeah, I have to say, getting home late Sunday night and then hitting that alarm at 5:45 a.m. on Monday, the struggle was in fact real. Of course, no spring in your step when you take a 5-1 loss like that. That it really harkened back to like 2019 days where we were just getting pounded every match. But thankful for a wonderful weekend with you, with all the rest of the FCC fans that made the trip. And despite what happened on the field, everything outside and, tornado warnings and wonderful food. And it was just a myriad of a great time had by all.
I have to say it was amazing time. I blacked out for around 90 minutes or so. Some people tell me it was a bad time, but then once that was over, then unfortunately the St. Louis fans were excited, so I guess that's where I blacked out. I'm trying to erase it from my memory. Is what I'm trying to say. I didn't actually black out.
Yeah, I mean, what I had to do was pick the right thing to wear, and that is the blackout FC Cincinnati scarf from 2017. And yeah, certainly that 90 minutes exemplified here with a black scarf. So, but we do it in jest, but certainly 5-1 was not fun to watch for 90 minutes.
So, an anatomy of a road trip. Well, we picked a place that wasn't too far, so we decided to leave on a Friday because, well, we're old, and if we left on a Saturday, went to a match, and then tried to drive home, or even stayed out a little later, no, that's not going to work. So we left Friday afternoon. Our compatriots were Aaron Chapin, and Trina. I have a hard time saying Nicole. There you go. Ignogle. It sounds Italian, but she's Scottish. So the 4 of us went. I had an epic road trip. Zamagliti, also AKA Orange and Blue Mobile, was out there. You might have seen that on the episode. We had a fantastic time. We landed about 8:30 because there's a time change. Dropped off our gear. One thing to know about road trips, particularly when you're going with a group, and Mark, you will say this, is be organized way ahead of time. Why? Go ahead, Mark.
Well, moving right to the pre-match, it became quite apparent that the 2 of us here wanted to go into that wonderful stadium at City Park, but only one of us had a ticket.
Well, there's that.
that had to be rectified immediately because the match was at hand. The march was going to be right then, and it had to be done. So
And
thankful.
it actually worked out because I think the road tickets were like 53 and you got it for 55 or 60. But here's
Yeah.
the thing. We were getting our pregame on. We had some beverages. We were feeling good. I think we already recorded our episode. I think we had all that done. And I go, "Hey Mark, where's my ticket?" He goes, "What ticket?" I said, "Remember I was gonna drive and you were gonna get tickets?" He's like, "Oh, I've never seen a drunk person sober up quicker than yours truly over there, just
I'm
doing that."
catching up.
Oh my goodness. Yes, but so it's like, I don't know. Maybe you take the kid. No, I say no. We both had the same idea. We both went on SeatGeek. The weather was kind of iffy, so we figured we could get something. We did, and crisis averted and no problems. That's part of the organizational piece is make sure that everybody has a ticket. The other part is make sure everybody is at the same hotel or nearby. Because our other two guests that were in the car were a 35-minute walk. In sunny weather and dark weather, you can do that. If it's raining, you don't want to do that. And we were right across the street, literally right across the street from the stadium. So we weren't driving anywhere.
Yeah.
We were settled in. We were ready to go. We don't mind a little bit of walking. But it all worked out in the end. We had a fifth wheel come by and do that. So Mark and I shared a room. I thought that was fun, and I think we are, yes, still friends. We are still friends. So nobody was snoring uncontrollably. Nobody was crying. Nobody was doing any of that. We had a really good time. Um, so as a roomie, always have Mark as a roomie. He's a great guy. We had a second roomie. We almost had a third roomie on,
Almost.
on after the match, and we'll get into that in a second. But always have your group either in the same hotel or as close as possible, because trying to figure out who's doing Uber and who wants to go out and who wants to walk. So Aaron, he's all about fitness, believe it or not. He walked so much that he got
Yes.
blisters on his feet. Sunday, we decided to do a little touristy stuff and go to the Arch, and he was hobbling. Well, there was other reasons for that, and we'll get to that later. So Friday, we did go out and get a burger. Mark did the sensible thing and went in, and Aaron and I. So here's something I know in all my travels. I've traveled to a lot of states. I used to tour as a musician. Every town has a Chinese restaurant and an Irish pub, and St. Louis is no exception. We found the Irish pub. It was a block away, so that was good. Uh, Road weary, but we went, and I did not know, but they have a pitch there as well. It's not. They're not related in any other way. It's the Pitch Athletic Club. I know this because this one had wood paneling and about
Yeah.
20 individual TVs that you could turn to any channel. So we actually watched the replay of the Tigres Montagua match. Ran into a server, said, "I'm from Cincinnati. First round's on me." We're like, "Well, okie doke." And then we had a nice leather chair, and Mark was tired. And we said, "Man, Mark should have came. He could have fallen asleep with us."
Yep, for sure.
So, what was your recollections of Friday and early Saturday for you?
Well, Friday, obviously, uh, getting into um, St. Louis and just seeing the evening sky and how majestic that stadium is, and we were literally right next door to it. It was really nice just to see that. And then Maggie O'Brien's, can't say enough about how nice that was. Nice appetizers. Guinness was just great, and we weren't looked at too severely at any
There,
point. So
there were a lot of Cardinal fans there on Friday because
yeah,
apparently, the Cardinals were home as well, and I
right.
guess that's also a Cardinal hangout after the game.
Yep. Yep. So certainly got very busy after we got there. But really nice place, wide open place. It was just nice to be there, and into Saturday, certainly for getting over to Pappy's barbecue, worth the wait and more. I cannot say that enough. What amazing barbecue that was. Just go there. It's world-class barbecue, St. Louis style. So I just can't say enough about how great that was. And the food coma that I was certainly in certainly exemplified exactly what that food meant to me. So
I food covered as well. So we got up around 8 o'clock because time change, right? So I guess we were just ready. It was beautiful. It was sunny. We walked around the park. Um, I, I said this in the episode as well that we think we saw a St. Louis player up and about. He was short. He was fit. He was wearing the whole St. Louis gear. So it could have been somebody working there, but clearly he looked like a soccer player. He walks
yeah,
by, goes, and I quote, "Have a good game, fellas." And we went, "Yep, this is the center back pairing you've been looking for." And the way they played, maybe we were playing the center back position. Maybe that's why I blacked out for 90 minutes because I don't think we could have done any worse than what happened on the field. So it was sunny. It was real nice. We knew that tornadoes were a slight possibility. We knew it was going to be rainy and probably lightning. So we thought, oh, this is going to be a long day. Let's just kind of pace ourselves. We took a nice little walk, looked around. There's not a lot of it's as a downtown, it's not very tall and it's really spread out.
yes,
And they look like they're trying to remodel half the town.
yeah,
I did a deep dive after I got home, and that's really what's happening. Is like half of the city left like 20 years ago, and they're trying to figure out what to do with what they have. So it's very interesting. But it was sunny, and then we call our other half of what we affectionately call the Bailey STL storm chasing unit. Um, they're like, okay, said just Uber on up. It shouldn't be a couple minutes. They're like, no, we're gonna walk. By the time they started it when it was sunny, by the time they got close to the stadium, it was raining cats and dogs.
yes,
Matt Adamczyk is coming up for the game. He was the cavalry who came and picked everybody up, and we went
yes,
over to Poppy's. Waited in line for about an hour, but it is very much worth it. It was a lot of
yeah,
fun because they had some rock and roll pictures, so people are like trying to figure out who the faces
yeah.
were on all of the stuff, and having a great conversation and just hanging out. And you know, that's the part of the road trip that you need to understand is that even if you're riding with your crew, unless you just know them for years, it's great. I learned, we hung out with Trina, who we kind of know. We see week in and week out. I know Aaron when I see him at the march, but to get to get to know one another a little bit better. So you next time you see them, you go, oh yeah, you remember? Because it's the shared experiences.
Yes.
The rain subsided. We I was kind of my idea. I'm a barbecue fan, and I pretty much every road place I go. Charlotte, I had barbecue. Austin, I had barbecue. St. Louis, I had that barbecue, and
Oh yeah.
I was like, okay, let's do that. And we ordered the large combo, which is really for two, a whole rack of ribs, a giant sandwich, not a little sandwich, a giant brisket sandwich, a giant
Yes.
pulled pork sandwich, a giant smoked chicken or turkey, I'm not sure which
Really
sandwich
good.
it was, and four sides. I mean, four
Yes.
tremendously huge sides. And we were hungry because continental breakfast. I don't know what continent. Maybe it's Antarctica is where it comes from, but that continental breakfast, you know, reconstituted eggs and floppy sausage is what I had. And that was about all I could. And brown stuff they said was coffee.
Oh, mm,
Yeah, that's it.
for
You're like,
sure.
okay, that was like at 8 o'clock in the morning. We was by the time we ate, it was about 12:30. Then we went back, tried to decompress from eating all that much.
Yeah.
And then again, organization, right? So this is organization. I don't know who decided to pick the Tin Roof. It was a beautiful place. I had a good time.
Yep.
But it's like a mile away from the stadium.
Yes,
Uh,
it is.
and the St. Louis crew uh, does not party there. They have their own outside tailgate like a block from where we were, which we just
Yeah.
didn't get a chance. I couldn't find it. By the time we found it, it was time to pregame. So yeah, it didn't do much there. But that's a mile walk. So somebody drove a car, dropped us off, then went back and then walked back 40 minutes in order to walk 40 minutes back to the because we were right by the yeah, logistically that wasn't very smart. But one
Yeah.
good story was is that we're trying to find a Tin Roof Cafe and it keeps blocked off. It's between the baseball game and then we pull up at a stoplight and Matt Adamczyk goes, "Oh, I think we found the Luligans. I see a flag and I hear chanting." And I look and there are rainbow flags and it's a very important cause. And I'm not making light of it. It's just like at first we're like, "Oh, great. Somebody we know, soccer fans." And then we look, we're like, "Oh,
Nope.
right. It's a protest." Well, we don't
Yes.
want to be in the middle of the protest. So we kind of rerouted that, got dropped off, and walked about a
Yeah.
block to get to our place. And um, Postman is great. I don't know his real name, so I'm sorry, Sir Postman. I don't know your not your real name, but you were
So,
a delight. You were a wonderful organizer. You were a wonderful leader of the march.
yes.
Um, Everybody had a great time. Everybody was safe and happy. Um, I'll let you talk about getting to the march because I think you and I have slightly different areas. I'm not sure if you came in or not. So go ahead.
Well, just long story short, because you said, dropped you guys off. We went, took the car back and then walked back. Um, found our way to Tin Roof eventually, and you know, gathered with all the rest that were there, and there's probably about 70, maybe, in Tin Roof that I believe. And it was just great to see everyone. We obviously led a chant that most everybody participated in, and because that's what we do. And then just finally getting out to the march, and certainly a a march of that distance. The Pride is very they're pretty aware of that distance, and so is DI. They've always been that distance. Brigade, not so much, not so much at all. We don't know what to do with
Like,
point
where's
eight to
my
one.
Sherpa? I'm like, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. I'm gonna sing. Just let me catch my breath.
Yeah, it just it's just something you're not prepared for, and I had to just sort of laugh, with Matt Adamczyk, who I hung with, you know, you can't just chant the whole way. It's very hard, but certainly getting close to City Park, the vocals went up, the scarves went up, and that's what was needed. But ultimately, getting right to in City Park, a beautiful stadium, I must say. Um, Mother Nature had some plans that we weren't ready for, and the stadium wasn't ready for. So I just want to bring that into, you know, they initially made a couple of mistakes in blocking people out and then finally bringing people in when they figured out that we all needed to be together. And then finally getting us over to the VIP
The Ultra,
area.
the Michelob Ultra. We were ultras for a couple of hours.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, it was a couple of hours of, dealing with that because there was nowhere to sit. There, thankfully you could, after about an hour, you could go get refreshments and such. But I just can't, I just want to say now, this was a banner moment for the staff at City Park Stadium, and they did a wonderful job to keep everybody calm, keep everybody safe, and just everything went well. Obviously, the 90 minutes afterwards is where I wear the black scarf, but but I just can't say enough how gracious, because we could have been thrown in a basement. We could have been left out on the uh, on the concourse. You know, it could have been worse by far, but thankful for all that they did for us.
So yeah, so to paint a picture here is that when we left the march, it was sunny, not even breezy. I would say low 80s and the humidity was rising. So it was a tough march. I
Yes,
mean, it was a midsummer march, not a
yes,
spring march, not the marches that we've been dealing with or we'll probably get on Saturday where it's going to be
yeah,
58 degrees. It
yeah.
was it was a wow, this is a hot, sweaty March. I actually got a bit of sun just in a couple hours of walking around in the afternoon before the march. We get there. I was holding a flag or a flag. I don't know what that is. The banner. We were holding the brand new Bailey banner, which
Yeah.
is cool for road matches. So we're walking up. I'm holding the Bailey banner. So they start letting us in. They let about 12 or so people in,
Yeah.
and then they shut the door. And we're like, what are you doing shutting the door? And they're like, and then the sirens go off. And
Yeah.
you saw my last episode, you would hear that siren and you heard what I was singing. I don't remember exactly what it goes, but
It's okay.
but it was appropriate. It came off the top of my head. But yeah, they shut the door. So I was like, what's going on? It's Craig from City. He was our liaison. Craig was, as Mark said, was amazing. He told their staff, open the gates, get the Cincinnati fans in, get them together. Initially, we just gathered until downstairs, and then once they knew that this was going to be even more serious, they put us up in the ultra room. I do have a bit of a first responder. I've worked with first responder organizations, so and I'm a weather buff anyway. So I knew once that siren was going off, they needed some help. I made sure that we got people shepherded in
Yep.
To the hallway. There was safety glass, but there's huge glass and
Oh,
there's huge LEDs on the ceiling. I'm like, I don't know why you would want to be underneath those LEDs. There were tornadoes in the area.
yeah.
I saw after the fact. They were F-Zeros, F1s. I don't care if it was F-1. You got a
Yeah.
tornado that's hitting anywhere, stuff is going to fly everywhere. It could have been really, really serious. And for a while there, it
Yep.
was really serious. So think about looking out the window around 6:45 in the afternoon and a nice sunny day. And within 15 minutes, if you haven't seen any of those pictures, it was pitch black. As a matter of
Yes.
fact, I heard Adam said, and I would agree with him, it started turning green. I saw
Yeah.
something that looked like hail falling. Then it was blowing sideways. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, the Philly game would be a reminder, but this was not. This was dangerous. It was
Yeah.
very, very dangerous. I think once everything went black, everybody took this very seriously. The SAP was calm. We were calm. We got everybody put together. But once the threat went through, we were waiting for lightning. Then they opened it up. So it was a potentially serious moment, but the staff of the St. Louis organization did a great. My heartfelt thanks for them for keeping us safe. I agree 100%. They did a great job. They deserve all of that credit.
For
Um,
sure.
let's move it to something a little lighthearted. So the giveaway, this was their first home game,
Mm.
was a St. Louis City flag. So
Yes.
everybody's wearing flags.
Oh,
Everybody knows me. I wear a flag. So
yes.
it was kind of fun seeing some people, and they were like, "Well, you're wearing a flag. I'm wearing a flag. Hey, would you like a picture?" Like, um, yes, maybe. Okay, sure. Like I'm not dangerous. I'm just, hey, let's take a picture. Then they calmed down. We had a whole bunch of 8-year-olds that's like they came up, and I didn't know they were looking for trouble, but they were coming up like, hey, let's get a picture with me and the kid and you guys. And they're like, no, you guys, oh, you guys are terrible, and ran off. And then they came back with like their 12-year-old older sister. Now, if anybody had seen this video, I'm sure people were video. I know there's some pictures. Mark, you do have a picture of it.
Yes.
Basically, they were like, my socks were too high. Ohio is haunted. My hair matched the walls. There was these types of was it like our team is bad or they're better? It was more personal attacks. And I turned around and go, I can't come back at these kids. There's just no way. If I come back with some real zingers, then I look like a monster.
Yes.
So I just had to just sit there and take it. I did turn around and look at Mark, look at Aaron. look at the postman, and they're all like,
Oh,
"Yeah, no, that's on you." Sucks to be you, doesn't it? I'm
yeah.
like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah, those kids were precious. That's all I can say. It was just fun. You just had
You
kids
guys
that
were
were,
having more fun at my expense than they were.
well, these poor kids are probably bored out of their mind, and all they see is another color. And of course, we are the sworn enemy, and how cute they were. Yes, you know, they even said that our whole state was haunted. I just died.
I don't know what to
That's
say
just
about that.
fun.
Oh, I was haunted. I'm pretty
I
sure
mean,
every state has some kind of haunting if
I
you're into
mean,
that.
you know, I mean, I mean, we do have a rivalry in Columbus, but we didn't want to bore them with those facts. But but yeah, why not?
Sure,
We're
why not?
haunted. I mean, what could be? Is there anything worse than that? I guess not. but
It
90 minutes. I think we might have had some haunting going on, some poltergeisting, or some other, you know,
it felt
mind
haunted.
play.
I would say the game felt haunted.
Oh yes, oh
Whenever
yes,
you see a player who's had five clean sheets and almost as many games have a ball hit off the post, back of his head, and into the goal. I think there's
yeah,
some viral fake video where the guy's doing PKs to win the game, and he's saving every save with his face.
yeah,
That's what came into my head because it was that kind of game. That first goal was a seeing eye goal. You take a shot and it went in. You went okay, but it was just one of those things uh, where it goes like that. The fans were getting a little salty. There was only one person that was kind of salty. He had from St. Louis. He had to leave. But this is what I would what I was trying to tell my American football friends is imagine if you went into and you're a Bengals fan, you went to like the Broncos. All right, it's a team in your division or not in your division in your half of the league, but it's not somebody you play very often. And you went across the street to their bar wearing your Bengal gear and you lost. How would you be treated?
yeah,
uh, because for us, we left. And Aaron is such a good person. He's such a great ambassador. He was talking to St. Louis fans like, hey, and they're like, hey, we thought it was going to be a really even match. We thought we might win, you might win. We're not sure, what was going on with that. But we took pictures with some of their supporters and our supporters. It was a great time. We had a picture, and we all walked across the street to the same Irish pub, by the way. We
yeah.
moved all the tables and the St. Louis fans were like, "Oh, that was a beating. You look like you need a beer. Let me go get you a beer." So beers and shots and exciting times were happening,
Good.
which leads into the next part is that I've done this a few times. When the Bud Light starts coming out, that's where I say, "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good. I think I've made my level." But Aaron still was imbibing on the uh, Bud Lights, and and he forgot at 2:30 in the morning that he still had a 30-minute walk in front of him. At this point, it's raining again, and the cold front has come through. And now it's getting to be about 50 degrees, 48 degrees, and it's wet. And it's 2:30, bars closed, and I have a one block walk, and I'm like, he goes, do you have Uber? I'm like, no, I don't have Uber. He goes, don't you have Uber? I just no, I just walk everywhere.
Oh,
How do I? He couldn't get Uber on his phone.
oof.
He was like, maybe I'll wake up Matt Adamczyk. He went to sleep at about 10 o'clock
Yeah.
at 2:30 in the morning. I said, no, no, no. So Matt, you owe me one. Uh, uh, and so finally, he had to at 3 o'clock in the morning walk home in the rain, in the cold,
Ooh.
and we saw him the next day. So I've been there. There's three levels of crispiness. He was at the medium level of
Ye-
crispiness.
Yes,
Uh, you could tell
yes.
that he had a really good time the night before, and he didn't eat as much as the rest of us. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, he was in survival mode on Sunday, that's for sure.
So yeah, so usually we were rocking with lots of tunes on the way home, between all the walking and the partying and the carrying on and the good times. Everybody was kind of a quiet. I think the back row was mostly asleep. What did you say? You were a zombie?
For sure. Yeah. Sunday was just getting through it. Granted, I got a little bit more sleep, but it's hard on an old man to do all of this on a weekend, but wouldn't have changed a thing. Maybe a little more organization, of course, but certainly a fun time all around.
That's pretty much how a road trip. Every road trip is different, and these are the stories that you tell your friends and you tell the other people. You have the catchphrase like storm chaser. So if I see Aaron, I'm
Yeah,
like storm chaser. He's going to know exactly what we're talking about.
yeah,
This is why you need to go on a road trip at least once, and particularly with a couple people you're going to meet some people you don't know because
right.
there's a lot of people from that city who are also FC Cincinnati fans, and that's
Yep.
kind of cool too. Or they're former Cincinnatians, but they're now in this city for work or for whatever. And so it's very important.
Yes.
So uh, to finish this up, let's just talk a couple minutes about the game coming up. We have Portland coming in. Last time we played them, I think it was the last time we played them, was the last time we played them here anyway. We won 3-0.
Yes.
Things are a little bit different. We're going to have maybe some tired legs with Vasquez. We had 3 people coming back from the U.S. men's team. I hear Costa's with the group. I hear Brenner is not with the group, but they're talking with the Italian squad to help have him play. So we may be. I think Obi's okay. I think Arias is out for sure, but he's been out in and out all year, and he's kind of injury prone anyway. So, what are your thoughts on Portland?
Uh, Portland, um, coming off the big win over Seattle. I, but they just haven't. They've been sort of that Jekyll and Hyde, just like FCC has been. Um, they look great, but then obviously St. Louis they didn't. Um, you know, Portland took care of Seattle pretty well. We got a 1-0 victory on them, so I'm not saying those two things match together, but we have our work cut out for us, and we need a good showing after this past match. And what a better team to do it with than Portland. We need to be rocking in the Bailey for 90 plus, and we've just got to show where you know reclaim who we are because a 5-1 loss certainly puts a sour taste in your mouth, and you got to get that out.
Absolutely, but nobody would have picked Portland to beat Seattle by 3. Nobody would have picked. I think some people would have. I mean, we thought it was going to be tough missing the players we were missing, but like I said, one game doesn't define us. And I think sometimes losing is good. That you get in that sense of a sense of not doing things wrong but winning anyway. You start getting into a bad pattern. So hopefully, this is a wake up call. This team is mature enough and strong enough. I'm going to pick a one. This is my bad take. 1-0. FC Cincinnati. I think we're going to get back on it. We're at home. I think we're going to figure out a way to get the ball in the net.
Yeah, that's what we absolutely have to establish the midfield, uh, figure out how to get good fluid passes from the midfield up to front line. Watching U.S., I watched the U.S. for about 50 minutes last night, and then of course everybody started scoring after that. But you just saw our U.S. midfield wasn't that fluid, and I think we get caught in that a little bit on the FCC side. I want to see that fluidity that we enjoyed so much last year. I think there's a bit of that, but we just haven't put that all together like we did on many occasions, like Philly last year. That was probably one of our best matches ever. I want to see that return. So if it means Acosta's back in and can start distributing like we know he can, hopefully Barriel can put last match behind him and just be the player we know he can be. Hopefully Noboto is in good shape. Looking for him to because he made some good plays last Saturday, but certainly it took effort of 11, and it just didn't, show well last week. But we just need all those guys to really, put it together. And I know if we can do that, we can handle Portland.
I have one last thing. I want to say a hearty welcome to GAM. Thank you, 175K GAM. Thank you for showing up. We made a blockbuster trade where we got GAM in exchange for an extra international spot. So I'm wondering where can GAM back up Lucho at the 10? I'm not sure.
I don't think so. Certainly, we are not at the echelon to discuss all business dealings
No.
with the club.
If you're coming for that kind of news, you've got the wrong podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's any GAM in this drink here, but if there is,
I've seen your GAMs. They're pretty nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm enjoying the GAM, I guess.
Yes.
Hopefully, it doesn't show up under my shoe in the Bailey Saturday. I don't know.
That's spam.
Oh, thank you.
That's different.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, I'm just,
I got you flustered.
150,000, it couldn't, it's big money to me. I don't know how much it is to the whole MLS business acumen. But I guess the more the merrier. I don't know, just keep stacking it up in your closet and get a wheelbarrow out for it. I don't know.
Gearing up for summer. That's what I'm assuming. So
Okay.
yeah. So don't ask us. We don't know. We don't do that. We don't have insiders. We're outsiders.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, we're outside of the outsiders.
Yes.
We
get
just
rained
chant
on
outside of things. That's really what we do.
Yeah, we literally got rained on, so we felt in our own environment. So
So that's all we have time for this week's FC Supporters Square. For Mark Suppin, I am Matt Warman. Have a great week. We'll see you next week with a guest.